Hey there, all you beautiful Broadway babies! Welcome back to Broadway by Ghostlight. I'm Mark Bonanni, and this is episode 47 of Broadway Jeopardy. If you like musical theater and Broadway history, make sure and hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. There's 26 all-new clues coming your way, including a video category from a much-requested TV show. So let's get right to this week's game. This is Broadway Jeopardy! Looking at the categories for this week's game, we start off, as always, with last week's Final Jeopardy category, which is sort of revivals. Here, we're looking at the shows that were deemed revivals the first time they played Broadway. After that, we have Dripping in Jewels, looking at some memorable jewels or jewelry featured in shows. Then we have Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Yes, I've gotten several requests to look at the Broadway parodies featured in the brilliant TV show from Rachel Bloom, so we're doing it this week. And in honor of the Tony nominations that came out earlier this morning, we have noms in all four, looking at 5 actors who are the only people to have been nominated in all 4 acting categories at the Tony Awards. That's Best Leading and Best Featured Actor or Actress in both plays and musicals. And last but not least, we have dual roles, looking at some shows where one performer plays 2 different parts in the same show. And we end with the Final Jeopardy round, so make sure and keep track of your scores so you know how much you can wager on that final clue. We start off, of course, with the $200 round, or the Overture round as we like to call it, where the questions lean towards the easy end of the spectrum to help you get on the board before I lovingly smack you back off with the harder questions later in the game. Kicking things off in the sort of revivals category, your first $200 clue is: the stage of the August Wilson Theater was transformed into Skid Row when this beloved musical finally made its Broadway premiere in 2003. What is Little Shop of Horrors? The first and so far only time Little Shop of Horrors has played Broadway proper was that 2003 revival with Hunter Foster and Carrie Butler. I will never forget the giant Audrey 2 built for that production by the Jim Henson Company. During the finale, not only would the theater itself look like it was starting to bleed, but then the giant killer plant came out over the audience, got all the way up to the mezz, and smiled. It was awesome. I saw that production on Halloween night in 2003, and it was a blast. Moving on to Dripping in Jewels, your next $200 clue is: in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, we are famously informed that these are a girl's best friend. What are diamonds? Though the character of Lorelei and her songs Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend are now today mostly associated with Marilyn Monroe from the film version of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, the incomparable Carol Channing was the first actor to proclaim that square-cut or pear-shaped these rocks don't lose their shape. Fun fact, Miss Channing was famous for throwing out fake diamonds and diamond rings to the crowd when she would perform that number. And I do happen to have one of the little fake diamonds here that she would throw out to the crowd. I don't even know if you could see it. Here, let's see if it'll stick to my hand. It's just a little costume jewelry piece. But then I also do have one of the fake diamond rings that Carol Channing would throw out into the audience. I obviously did not catch this. I was not old enough to see Miss Carol Channing play this part, but there is one of the phony diamond rings that Carol Channing would throw out. Now, if you ask Carol Channing about the rings like this that she would throw out to the audience, she would tell you that they were real diamonds. Miss Channing always said that the quality of diamonds is determined by the amount of affection attached to them, and mine are all filled with love, she would say. I am very proud to have a little bit of Carol Channing's love with me. Tuning into the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend category for $200, this is the musical being parodied in the video clue.
Can you hear a trickling sound? That's the leaky sink of change.
What is Les Miserables? If you haven't seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, it's a very funny TV show which ran for 4 seasons from 2015 to 2019. The show follows lawyer Rebecca Bunch, who, when the show begins, relocates her entire life to West Covina, California to be closer to Josh, an old crush whom she had met at summer camp 10 years ago. The clip that I just played was from season 1, episode 13 of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and the song is called Flooded with Justice.
Can you hear a trickling sound? That's the faulty faucet of truth. It's a drip, drip, drip that will make you go, what is that?
Over in the Noms and All Fours category, your next $200 clue is... This beloved actress didn't win in all 4 acting categories she was nominated in, but she did win the Best Actress in a Musical all 4 times which she was nominated, which is for Mame, Dear World, Gypsy, and Sweeney Todd. Who is Angela Lansbury? Besides the 4 Best Actress in a Musical awards the clue mentioned, Miss Lansbury's other category nominations were Best Supporting Actress in a Musical for the 2010 revival of A Little Night Music, Best Actress in a Play for Deuce in 2007, and Best Supporting Actress in a Play for the 2009 revival of Blithe Spirit, which she also won. And finishing up the Overture round in the Dual Roles category, your final $200 clue is... In the most recent Broadway revival of this musical, Melody A. Betts played both Auntie M as well as the wicked Eveline. What is The Wiz? Yes, the roles of Aunt M and Eveline were not originally played by the same actor. This last revival of The Wiz in 2024, that's still touring the US, was the first major production to use this combination. Though other major productions of The Wiz have had dual roles, though it's often one actor for Aunt M and Glinda, which I think makes a little more dramaturgical sense than the Aunt M Eveline combo. I hope you all trounced that first round. Let's move on to the only slightly harder $400 round now. Circling back to sort of revivals, your first $400 clue is... This Sondheim musical's first Broadway production was set in a shooting gallery at a carnival. What is Assassins? The 2004 Broadway production was considered a revival thanks to the Classics rule at the Tony Awards, where any show that the Tony Committee feels has been firmly established with either an off-Broadway run or regional productions in the past. There are definitely some gray areas there, but basically what makes a classic is up to the Tony Committee. Though the rule was instituted in 2002, I feel like this Assassins in 2004 was the first production where people really became aware and some pushed back against the ruling. Many felt that had Assassins been considered a new musical, it would have easily beat the other new musicals. That was the year of Avenue Q versus Wicked. Opening our jewelry boxes to the Dripping in Jewels category brings us the $400 clue. In this madcap play, which was later turned into a musical, the title leading lady ruins her bosom buddy Vera's new play because of her noisy bracelets. What is Auntie Mame? The hilarious scene in which, to earn some money when the Depression hits, Mame is cast in a play starring her best friend and prominent theater actress Vera Charles. But Mame's noisy bracelets cause unintended humor in the play.
Oh, now while we cherish this ecstasy we've known. What the hell have you got back there, reindeer?
And what's more, the bracelets get stuck on the leading lady's costumes, which turn the stuffy drama into a full-out laugh fest, much to the horror of Vera.
We're all ruined! But Vera, never let me catch a sight of your evil face again, you assassin!
For $400 in the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend category, this is the musical being parodied in the video clue.
Story, story, let's hear another story. Story, story, that one was just sad.
What is Chicago? This song is called What's Your Story, and this is from the first episode of season 4 of the show. That's the only clue this game that's actually not from season 1. Crazy. Starring as Rebecca in the comedy/drama/musical television show was Rachel Bloom, who also conceived of, wrote, and co-directed the television show as well. Rachel Bloom shot to fame with a hysterical and foul-mouthed YouTube music video about Ray Bradbury, the title of which I can't say on this family-friendly game show. In fact, there were several very funny Broadway parodies I would have loved to have included in the game, but they were just too not safe for work.
I was a no-good, manipulative love addict with undiagnosed borderline personality disorder. I swindled. Drum. I cheated. Drum. I called out a hit on my ex-boyfriend's girlfriend. Drum, drum.
Looking at another performer who's gotten noms in all four gives us the $400 clue. Not only is this acclaimed actress among the 5 to be nominated in all 4 acting categories, but she's the only person to ever win in all 4 as well. She also holds the record for the most Tony wins for a performer. Who is Audra McDonald? The incredible Miss McDonald has had 10 Tony nominations so far in her career. 2 for Best Supporting Actress in a Musical for Carousel in '94 and Ragtime in '98, both of which she won. 2 for Best Supporting Actress in a Play for Masterclass in '96 and A Raisin in the Sun in 2004, winning the former. 3 for Best Actress in a Play for Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill, for which she won, as well as for Frankie and Johnny in the Claire de Lune in 2020 and Ohio State Murders in 2022. And finally, 3 Best Actress in a Musical nominations for Marie Christine in 2000, 110 in the Shade in 2007, and Porgy and Bess in 2012, which she won. Also, I'm fairly confident that she will be nominated again for Best Leading Actress in a Musical for Gypsy this season, and is a strong contender to win. And the final $400 clue in the dual roles category is... Many actors in the smash hit Hamilton play dual roles, including the actor who plays the Marquis de Lafayette, who also takes on this role in Act 2. What is Thomas Jefferson? One of the many absolutely genius moments in Hamilton is with the dual roles in the opening number. The actors who play Lafayette/Jefferson and Hercules Mulligan/James Madison say the line, "Me, I fought with him," which plays to both roles these men take on. Lafayette and Mulligan fought with Hamilton alongside him in the war, while their other roles, that of Jefferson and Madison, quote, fought with him in an adversarial sense while in government. The actor who plays John Lawrence, as well as Philip Hamilton, says the line, "Me, I died for him." John Lawrence dying in the war, and Philip dying in a duel to protect his father's honor. This also applies to the actress who plays Peggy Schuyler and Maria Reynolds. Peggy loving Hamilton in a family or older brother type of way, while her other role of Maria Reynolds loves Hamilton in a more explicit way. Like I said, one of the many brilliant aspects to this musical. Leaping right into the $600 round now, taking in a sort of revival with the $600 clue. This musical had 3 different made-for-TV versions in 1957, 1965, and 1997, before finally reaching Broadway in 2014, though with a completely rewritten book by Douglas Carter Beane. What is Cinderella? As the clue stated, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella began life in 1957 as a one-night-only live television musical event with Julie Andrews. And then the show got 2 more cherished TV adaptations before finally coming to Broadway. I do take issue with the rewritten book, though, for that 2014 production. For me personally, it seemed like they just wanted the Rodgers and Hammerstein music, but used it to tell a completely different story. There are so many musical theater writers out there now. If you want an all-new take on Cinderella, then write an all-new take on Cinderella. If you want to do Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella, do Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella. You know what I mean? Make adjustments and updates, of course, every revival does, and many times it's necessary for modern audiences, but I feel like this production just stole the music for its own show in a way. But that's just me. I'm just rambling. The $600 clue in the Dripping in Jewels category is... When title character Candide finds his bride Cunegonde, whom he believed dead, she is decked out in the finest jewelry, and she sings this exhilarating aria, a favorite among sopranos. What is Glitter and Be Gay? As the clue stated, the vocally demanding aria is a popular one among sopranos. It shows off not only their vocal range and versatility, but also their acting chops as well. A favorite leading lady of Broadway's golden age, Barbara Cook, was the first singer to tackle the song, and it earned her great acclaim in both the theater and classical music worlds. Fan favorite Kristen Chenoweth also performed the number to high praise in the 2005 concert version of Candide. Over in the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend category, your $600 video clue is...
You're nothing without me and my creativity. I created you. You lived in my womb. I mean, figuratively.
What is Gypsy? This is from the season 1 finale episode. The wonderful actor in this clip who played the role of Rebecca's best friend and co-worker Paula is Donna Lynn Champlin. Miss Champlin has appeared in several Broadway shows, including the 2005 revival of Sweeney Todd, where she was hilarious as the pompous Pierelli. Miss Champlin also appeared in the Comedy Central TV show Another Period, as well as the Netflix original movie Feel the Beat, which I've seen many times thanks to my oldest daughter.
After everything I've done for you that you didn't ask for, the least you can do is be honest with your mother. I mean, friend.
Next up for the Noms in All 4 category, your next $600 clue is... Raul Esparza was robbed was a long-standing internet meme after one of his 4 category nominations didn't bring home a win, the leading role in this Sondheim musical. What is Company? The other nominations for Mr. Esparza that granted him access to the exclusive All 4 Club are Best Supporting Actor in a Musical for Taboo in 2003, Best Featured Actor in a Play for Harold Pinter's The Homecoming in 2008, and Best Actor in a Play for Speed the Plow in 2009. And your one clue in the dual roles category for $600 is... Traditionally, the actor who plays Mr. Darling in Peter Pan also plays this role. What is Captain Hook? The tradition of having one actor play the patriarch of the Darling family as well as the infamous Captain Hook started all the way back when the story of Peter Pan was first presented as a play in 1904. Actually, the play's author J.M. Barrie apparently originally intended the actress playing Mrs. Darling to also play the pirate captain, but the actor who was cast as Mr. Darling persuaded the playwright to let him take on the role as well, and the rest, as they say, is history. It's time to crank up the difficulty level a notch or two with the $800 round now. But before we do, if you're enjoying this week's game, please, oh pretty please, do me the honor of hitting that like button. It really helps with these videos getting shown to more fine folks like yourselves, but also makes me feel like I'm nominated for a Tony. Thank you all, I really do appreciate it. Okay, plowing ahead to the $800 round. Back again at the Sort of Revivals category gives us the $800 clue. Floyd Collins, currently playing its first Broadway run, prominently features this type of singing, which involves repeated and rapid changes of pitch. What is yodeling? The musical, with a score by Adam Gettle and a book by Tina Landau, is the latest musical to be deemed a revival by the Tony Committee, along with the last 5 years, currently playing for the first time on Broadway. In Floyd Collins, which has several scenes inside a cave deep in the earth, utilizes echoes along with the yodeling to create beautiful and sometimes haunting audio soundscapes.
If I follow that sound, I could find what I'm looking for.
Trying on the Dripping in Jewels category with the $800 clue. In this Best Musical winner of 1954, the poet Hajj acquires some gold and happily has all the merchants display their bangles, baubles, and beads for his daughter to shop from. What is Kismet? Kismet is based on the play of the same name and takes place in Baghdad around the times of the Arabian Nights. The musical, which I'll admit I've always found a bit boring, had luck on its side when it first opened in 1953. The musical opened during a newspaper strike, which meant that there were no reviews published for the show until much later. Kismet was heavily promoted on radio and in particular on television, which caught the attention of the public and made the show a hit. When the newspaper strike ended, reviews were published several weeks after the opening and were not very favorable. Changing the channel to the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend category brings us the $800 video clue.
When a person's in trouble, a manifestation of their subconscious appears in the form of a dream ghost. Giving advice you kind of already knew. I'm a dream ghost.
What is Dreamgirls? This is from episode 15 of the show's first season. Rebecca's psychiatrist, who appears in the form of a dream ghost for this song, is played by Michael Hyatt. Miss Hyatt has appeared in many movies and TV shows, including The West Wing and The Wire, as well as lots of theater, including a stint in the original Broadway run of Ragtime. Later in the Dream Ghost songs, Miss Hyatt is backed up by none other than Amber Riley, one of the stars of Glee, who also won acclaim for playing Effie White in the London revival of Dreamgirls in 2016, and Ricki Lake, perhaps best remembered as the original Tracy Turnblad in the film Hairspray.
We are the dream ghosts, here to show you the proper way. We are the dream ghosts, and to help you with this job, it's just okay.
The $800 clue in the Noms in All Four category is: this actor was the first person to be nominated in all four acting categories. He was nominated for The Heidi Chronicles and Contact, as well as the revivals of She Loves Me and Journey's End. Who is Boyd Gaines is the right response. As the clue mentioned, Boyd Gaines was the first person to get nominations in all four acting categories. He also received a Best Supporting Actor in a Musical nomination for Gypsy as well as Contact. And Mr. Gaines has won 4 of the 5 times he's been nominated, only losing for Journey's End in 2007. And looking at one of my favorite musicals in the dual roles category, the $800 clue there is: one actor played the role of Andre, who's off fighting in a war, as well as Andre's father, the old Prince Bolkonsky, in this 2016 musical. What is Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812? As we know from the musical's clever prologue, Andre isn't there for most of the show, so it just makes logistical sense for the same actor to also play his own father, the crazy old Prince Bolkonsky, who has only one short but memorable sequence in Act 1 of the musical. Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 is literally one of my top 10 musicals of all time, maybe top 5. Maybe top 3, actually. Anyway, if you don't know the show, I cannot recommend it enough. And now we've arrived. It's the big show, the main event. It's the $1,000 round. Give me that dramatic music. Good luck, players. Reviving the Sort of Revivals category one last time with a $1,000 clue. In the two-hander musical Gutenberg the Musical, Bud and Doug tell their version of the invention of the printing press, featuring Johann Gutenberg and his sweet but dim-witted assistant named This, also the name of a popular font. What is Helvetica? Besides Gutenberg and his lovely assistant Helvetica, the other characters in this zany musical version of the origin of the printing press include the evil monk who hates Jesus and wants to destroy the printing press, his henchman Young Monk, and their cat named Satan. Polishing off the dripping in jewels category gives us the $1,000 clue. In Thoroughly Modern Millie, this character tells the story of receiving a green glass brooch that turned out to be real emeralds from a beau who turned out to be a multimillionaire. Who is Muzzy Van Hosmeer? The ultra-wealthy chanteuse Muzzy Van Hosmeer, who was famously played in the original film version by Carol Channing.
Raspberries!
For Broadway was originated by Cheryl Lee Ralph, one of the original Dreamgirls and current star of the hit sitcom Abbott Elementary. She was replaced later in the run by Leslie Uggams, who played the role for the remainder of the musical's Broadway run.
Step right up to Treasure Isle, every inch of it a sky mile, fairy tale land, only in New York. Hey, castle builder.
Our last look at Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is a bit different this time. For this $1,000 clip, these are the two actors being parodied here with the video clue.
Settle for me,
It's a practical proposal.
settle for me.
It makes a certain sense.
Who are Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. This is from the 4th episode of the TV show. The song being performed is called Settle For Me, and a clear nod to the string of popular Fred and Ginger films of the 1930s like Top Hat and Swing Time. Here, Rebecca meets Greg, her crush's best friend, and they begin a relationship. Greg was played in season 1 and 2 of the show by Tony winner Santino Fontana, an amazing actor who appeared on Broadway in shows like Billy Elliot, Cinderella, and the play Act 1. He also provided the voice for Prince Hans in the blockbuster Frozen in 2013. Our last performer who has gotten noms in all 4 for $1,000 is... This actress was nominated in all 4 acting categories, her final nomination being for the role of Phyllis Rogers Stone in the 2011 revival of Follies. Who is Jan Maxwell? A favorite performer among musical theater enthusiasts. Besides her Best Actress in a Musical nomination for Follies, the late great Jan Maxwell received nominations for Best Supporting Actress in a Play for Coram Boy in 2007, one of my favorite plays, as well as Lend Me a Tenor in 2010. That same 2010 Tony Award, she was also nominated for Best Actress in a Play for The Royal Family. Her nomination for Best Supporting Actress in a Musical was for playing the Baroness von Bombburst in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in 2005. And the curtain call clue in the dual roles category for $1,000 is... In The Mystery of Edwin Drood, during Act 2, while everyone tries to solve their murder, the actor who plays Edwin Drood, at least temporarily, steps into the role of a detective named this. What is Dick Datchery is the right response. You could argue, I suppose, that every actor in The Mystery of Edwin Drood is playing dual roles, as the musical is a show within a show. A group of English Hall performers are putting on the show The Mystery of Edwin Drood. So for the original Broadway production, the wonderful Betty Buckley played the role of Alice Nutting, who was playing the role of Edwin Drood. Confusing, I know. But in the world of the English music hall, Alice Nutting has it in her contract that she is to appear in both acts of the show. So when the character of Edwin Drood goes missing, Alice Nutting gets to take on the role of Dick Datchery, the mysterious detective who appears in Act 2. Later on, when the audience votes for who the murderer will be, they also vote on the real identity of Dick Datchery as well. And with that, we've reached the final Jeopardy round, my friends. Time to tally up your scores and decide how confident you feel in the category multiple roles. Yes, why stop at just a dual role when you can play many different roles in a show? Okay, has everyone made their wagers? John? Sarah? Lily? Okay, here is your final clue. In this currently running musical, actor Marcus Choi plays several roles, including James Choi, as well as James's son, Junso. What is Maybe Happy Ending? I know that may have been a tough one for a lot of you, as Maybe Happy Ending is a very new musical from this season, but I am just so obsessed with it. I've had the honor of seeing it 4 times now, and it is by far one of the best new musicals in years. Hopefully it did very well this morning with the Tony nominations. Pertaining to the clue, there is a very funny bit in Maybe Happy Ending where one of the leads is out looking for the character of James, and because one actor plays James as well as all the other bit parts in the musical, the lead character often remarks about how everyone he meets looks like James. And that's this week's game! How did you all make out this week? Were you dripping in right answers? Or did you have a maybe unhappy ending? Be sure to let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys and seeing your scores. If you learned something this game and found some value in it, please share these videos with everyone you know. A massive amount of love and gratitude to my wonderful patrons over on Patreon. You guys are my everything. If you want to help support the channel, you can check out my Patreon via the link in the video description, where there is also a link to my merch shop. If you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, you can find me over on Blue Sky, probably talking Tony nominations at this very moment. I'll be back next week with episode 48, but until then, I'm Mark Benani. This is Broadway by Ghostlight. Thanks for playing.